What's the dumbest thing you believed as a kid? The teachers sleep at school. The first time I saw one of my teachers at the supermarket, I was shocked. I must have thought the school kept them in a broom closet or something. That sex was literally sleeping next to one another and making moaning sounds. I heard things I wanna forget. I thought sex was making out with your shirt off, but not pants off because that would be gross. Oh yeah, imagine taking your pants off in front of someone else. How gross. I remember thinking even making contact was sex. I bumped a girl with my pelvis dangerously close in elementary. I was scared she'd get pregnant. I thought I was real wise for thinking it was where you put your penis in their vagina and just sleeping like that. That actors' TV characters would have to come back into a studio for each rerun of a show movie. I would always be so amazed that people would have the time to go into a room with a camera multiple times a day just so I could watch them do the same thing over and over again. I used to think that laugh tracks were somehow real life, like I was hearing everyone else laughing who was watching the same show I was. In hindsight, this is really stupid. Obviously the sound is coming from the speakers. But growing up we only had TV at my grandma's place and I remember laughing really loud when the laugh track came on so all her neighbors would think I got the joke too. I thought that the show was still going on during the commercial breaks, so I was always worried about what I had missed while the commercials were on. I thought the black market was an actual market, like under a bridge or something. I believed this for longer as I want to admit. I still imagine some rundown shanty town market whenever I think of the black market. Blue fire was cold. That my grandma G had a glass eye, and that she lost her eye in a bar fight. Nope, took me until I was 20 to discover she just had a lazy eye, and my dad and his brothers always told kids that story every holiday meetup. LOL, my grandma actually does have a fake eye and I used to think it was just lazy. Not me, but my brother was convinced for a few weeks that some cows had longer legs on one side of their body so they could stand on hills. Those are the ones we get lean beef from. That dinosaurs were still alive on another island, and I kept asking my mother if we could go to the island with all the dinosaurs. Then she told me they were all dead. You know those animatronic dinosaurs at museums. I knew they were robots, but as a child I was convinced that the robot was unaware of its animatronic status. I believed that if the robot wanted to, it could and would step over the barrier and eat me and everyone else. This fear was compounded when my dad, more than once, picked me up and pretended he would drop me down the other side of the barrier. I had no idea that morning sickness was associated with pregnancy. My coach was concerned when I shrugged my shoulders and stated that's what was probably causing my sluggishness at football camp practice. I had scoliosis surgery when I was 14 and was extremely nauseous for like 2 months because of the medication. I got into a routine where I would always throw up in the morning, so I kept a bowl beside my bed. My granddad came to visit me and naturally asked about the bowl. In front of my granddad, mom, and dad, I, without missing a beat, exclaimed that it was to help with my morning sickness. My mom burst out laughing, but my granddad and dad didn't think it was so funny until they realized what I had meant. That's hilarious. My stepdad had an old truck with 2 gas tanks that he would flip a switch to change from one to the other. He had us convinced that he would magically steal gas from other vehicles. He would tell us to pick one and we would watch the gas dial go from E to F while driving on the highway. Blew my mind. I thought a baby just randomly appeared in a woman's womb. I stayed awake crying about it because I didn't want to become pregnant. For some reason, I thought every car that was made had to do a crash test. Probably because my dad once told that our car had a very good rating in the crash test. I was amazed by the fact that all cars were repaired so well before being sold. I thought that drinking and driving meant any drink. My brother and I wrote letters to Santa and our dad would open up the coal furnace door and we would throw them in the fire. We believed they would go directly to the North Pole. When I was about 4, my older sister told me that since the population of Japan was so high, Japanese people slept sideways on their beds so they could fit more people on every bed. I believed it until I went to a sleepover at 13 and suggested that we sleep Japanese style on the bed so everyone could fit. That all bald men were kidnappers. No idea where it came from. I really don't think I was kidnapped as a child, but if I was, it was definitely a bald man that did it. 2 gems from my youth. 1. I used to think my testicles were the eggs of my future children. Like, one day they would hatch and I'd have 2 kids. 2. I thought safe sex meant someone left their clothes on.